Hello guys, today we're going over the worst Star Wars film. Actually not the worst Star Wars film, there was a certain holiday special to go over later. What are we going over? The Last Jedi. I almost puked of its disgustingness. All the Star Wars films, even Solo, is better than The Last Jedi. It has a 7.2 on IMDb, but we look at Rotten Tomatoes. This is gonna burn, okay? This is just gonna burn and burn on Rotten Tomatoes. Before we go to the plot, and of course there'll be spoilers, because you know why you want to see this movie. Everybody hates this movie. 45% of people like The Last Jedi. Comparison: The Phantom Menace has like a 55%, and The Attack of the Clones has a 57%. The prequels are considered better movies than The Last Jedi. I've already seen the movies, so I can add a rating if I want to, but basically The Last Jedi is a movie made by Disney. Oh yay, Disney, our favorite company. They always like to go around ruining everything. Ever since 2016, Disney has been a piece of garbage to their fans. All they do is make now is remakes of older movies, like the Lion King remake, or just make unnecessary sequels and cast grabs and unnecessary movies, i.e. A Wrinkle in Time, Incredibles 2, and The Last Jedi. Because really, people would want to see the new Star Wars films. Of course, Star Wars is one of the most popular franchises in the world, behind like Pokemon and Mario and DC and Marvel, yeah, all that, and Mickey Mouse. And of course people are saying that it's rigged. Yeah, it is rigged, because it's all liberals giving these movies good scores. The Last Jedi is not even that good of a movie. But now we're done with Rotten Tomatoes. Let's go to the movie itself. Is the movie good? Is the movie really as bad as everybody says it is? Apparently, $307 million is not enough to save this film, and it's easily the second worst Star Wars film ever made, because there is the holiday special, and I cannot forget that exists. Absolutely. So, shortly after the battle with the Starkiller base, General leads the Resistance forces to flee the planet, the Crow, which was in the last film, and the First Order attacks them, and Poe attacks them back, and basically they send bombers to destroy the Dreadnought, and the Dreadnought is destroyed now. And of course, Rose Tico basically just sits there and just cries for literally 3 minutes. Was it 3 minutes? It was like 2 minutes. This film is so... If you thought 2001: A Space Odyssey was boring, this film is basically just... Half the film is just running away from the guys. No action whatsoever. It's just them running away from the guys. Bad guy, like the Empire's like back to those action, those good scenes, and everything. And the first Star Wars as well, and the other Star Wars, and the Return of the Jedi, and of course the prequels. It's just basically a goose chase. This is not a real film. This is a goose chase. It just felt like this film just felt like they just decided to just extend the film such a long time that they decided to just make the film longer just to please the Oscars, which this film did not win no Oscars, that's for sure, except for like best like visuals or something. Which the only good thing about this movie is the visuals, but everything else completely stinks. The storyline is eh. The storyline is just like okay, the storyline is to talk about after the plot. And then the First Order is still trying to track Luke Skywalker. Here's the thing, they could have used the Force to find him. Is this that hard, Kylo Ren, to find freaking Luke Skywalker? And then they hesitate to fight this because Leia's on there. But they still fight anyways, and she gets blown out, and then she uses a Superman and attack things to come back, and basically killing everybody besides Leia. And now Mrs. Feminist is here. Vice Admiral Holdo. Quite easily one of the worst Star Wars characters in history. She barely missed out my top 5 because Anakin, he's just twisted. In the episode 3 specifically. Holdo would be at 7 of the worst Star Wars characters. All she is just a feminist who is basically demoting someone who basically destroyed a dreadnought, which cost millions, which was a ship that could destroy, that was very, very powerful. She tells no one of the plan because he's dumb. No, because he's a freaking feminist that doesn't care about anyone. And then, but then Rose Tico, oh, I was a slave before, said Rose Tico. You should feel sorry for me. So I should feel sorry for Zhao Zhao for him being exiled? No. So I should feel sorry for Rose Tico. Because she's, but maybe Rose Tico might be useful to the plot. She might actually be an important character. So let's go see if Rose Tico actually does something. Where she's considered the second worst Star Wars character, and she was followed on my worst Star Wars character. Poe helps Finn, BB-8, and Rose Tico embark on a secret mission to disable the First Order's tracking device. Meanwhile, Rey arrived on Luke's planet to recruit Luke Skywalker, but he's basically having his old man tantrum and saying, no, I don't want, because Kylo Ren did something, because I threatened him, I tried to kill him. The whole reason why this happened, Luke, the whole reason why these new movies are happening is because you caused them, Luke. You basically, like Anakin, he was turning to the dark side because he wanted to save her mother. He wanted to save, Padme, but Luke, you basically caused Kylo Ren doing all this. You caused it. You caused him going to the backside because you were a failure to train Kylo as a Jedi. You were a failure. And now he believes that the Jedi should just go away and never come back. And Luke, Rey, and Kylo, and for some reason, Rey and Kylo can speak using the Force. This is quite possibly the dumbest thing happened because they never explained this. They literally never explained this at all. They learn about each other and stuff, blah blah blah, and they have visions of themselves being future partners. R2-D2 tries to pursue Luke to train Rey, but he finally says, oh fine, I'll train you! And after Kylo tells Rey what happened to him and Luke, tells him to the dark side, Luke confesses he momentarily complimented without killing Kylo, because of course he believed that Snoke was corrupted him because reasons, causing Kylo to destroy it because it was all your fault in the first place, Luke. You're this old man who doesn't care about anyone, and oh, I'll train you, and he says, oh, you shouldn't be giving into the dark side, you shouldn't be, and then she failed, and of course, he finally warns of this, and then he does, and Rey fights Luke, and for some reason, CB and Mary Sue completely beats Luke for some reason, because he got very little training whatsoever, and he somehow beat Luke Skywalker. What the hell is this, okay? You're trying to tell me this girl with no training whatsoever. It's like saying Yamcha trained. It's like the whole Kale and Khalifa thing in Dragon Ball Super. They had no training, but they were able to fight Goku and really easily, and basically defeat many characters. Almost beat Goku and Vegeta. It's just stupid. It's just dumb. Because and this is the problem with just movies in general. Them trying to make this whole girl power stuff, and it's just not working. Nobody likes these Mary Sue characters. Okay, nobody. I use another example from Dragon Ball Super. And then the Jedi, and then of course Yoda teaches Luke about how books are pointless and how you shouldn't use books anymore because book, and he destroys the books. He says, Craven said, oh wait, all he has knows, and encourages Luke to learn from his failure. Holdo, of course, I'm Holdo, I'm stupid, and of course he believing her. Everybody leaves because believing that Holdo's a coward, which he is a coward, because he refused to tell anyone her plan. Stupid feminist. Poe and everybody and Finn and Rose and BB-8 go to the casino, the whole most pointless scene, help the hacker to infiltrate Snoke's ships, but we're all but BB-8 were captured by Captain Phasma, the most boring Star Wars villain in all of Star Wars history. Meanwhile, Rey lands on the ship and Kylo brings her to Snoke. Well, they seem frustrated the mental connection between her and Kylo as a power plan to destroy Luke or to kill Rey. Rey just kills Snoke with his lightsaber because Snoke's basically used his plot device to accelerate Kylo Ren's train. Okay, forget it. Snoke's now the worst villain. He basically does absolutely nothing throughout the entire movie. And of course defeats Snoke stars about on Rey's side because he wants to be the Supreme Leader or something. Rey believes that Kylo has returned to the right side of the Force and said, ugh! Like Darth Vader, he says, I want you to rule on my side because I'm an emo guy. So he fights Kylo for possession. Of course, his lightsaber splits in two. Rey recovers and Sun's Pearl, allowing evacuation to begin. Holdo remains on the ship to mislead Snoke's fleet, as the other fleet on the abandoned Rebel Alliance base on the crash. Basically, half the Resistance fleet gets destroyed because Holdo just sits there and does nothing. And the evacuate is fully destroyed because Holdo is stupid, and he finally does something when there's only like 3 steps left. Screw you, Holdo. You're basically one of the worst Star Wars characters in history. And basically now she's dead, which is the best part of the movie because we don't have to ever see her again. Rey escapes and Kylo declares himself the Supreme Leader. BB-8 flees Finn and Rose to escape after defeating Phasma and joins the survivors and quit. This is the final scene. Well, they first order lives of around a few BB-8s, AT-ATs in the Death Star cannon, and they use these pieces of junk. They attack with these pieces of junk, and Rey and Chewbacca try to draw the TIE fighters away from the Falcon, while Rose stops Finn from basically it's not a suicide one. It's sacrificing himself to save everyone else. But Rose Tico explains, he's racist and stuff. Yeah, Rose Tico, no one likes you. You suck. You ruined basically what could have been the best part of the movie. Which, of course, destroys the fortress base. Luke appears and confronts Kylo, and they shoot at Luke, but he does no damage. But then Luke and Kylo basically do they fight, and basically but then it was just a freaking hologram the whole time. And then Rey uses the Force to help the Resistance escape on the Falcon. Luke, exhausted, decides to basically die. He just disappears because reasons, and Rhea senses his death, and Rhea tells the surviving rebels that the Resistance all has needed to rise again. Yeah, a fist, a black guy, Rose Tico, who does absolutely nothing. Oh yeah, they do. They have Mary Sue with them, and then the kid basically, who helped Finn and Rose escape, grabs a broom with the Force and gazes into space. So basically, that's the last Jedi. Okay, so we're gonna split this day. We're gonna continue about the Last Jedi. Quite easily worst and most dumbest Star Wars film in history. This is probably be a very long video, but now let's go over all the gripes I have with the film. And but first, let's go over all the good parts. There was the one funny part where Chewbacca eats the Porg. The Porgs are easily one of the best parts of the movie. They're kind of like minions, but the birds. They're really cute, and I like the Porgs. They're easily the best, most well-developed and thought-out characters in the entire film, and easily the second-best character in the new trilogy besides BB-8. And of course, there are people who actually hate BB-8 as a character, which I don't think BB-8's that bad of a character, because BB-8 is kind of a replacement for R2-D2. Yeah, remember him? He's a background character. The visuals are very, very great. The visuals are very good, and there are a few twists, but does that really make The Last Jedi the best Star Wars film? Let's go over the gripes. The bad parts about The Last Jedi. Yes, the bad parts Rose Tico. The characters. Rose Tico. Quite easily one of the most useless Star Wars characters in history. Within the ranks of L337 and Jar Jar Binks, he contributes absolutely nothing to the plot whatsoever. Basically, Rose Tico contributes nothing to the movie, and he's basically Jar Jar Binks, but he doesn't talk that much, and he's Asian. And it's Jar Jar Binks, but human and Asian. That's literally all she is. But at least he doesn't talk as much as Jar Jar Binks. All she does is talk about stuff and how hope and stuff. Really, this film could have been better without, way better without you. If you were in the film, this film would have actually been good. If it wasn't for this one character. It's just so sad how one character can ruin an entire film. Rose Tico easily one of the worst Star Wars characters. He kind of ruined the film. He did it, like Finn could have been seen as a hero who sacrificed himself to save the Resistance from being destroyed by the Death Star Destroyer. But no, it has to be like this where Rose Tico had to do stuff like this because she's stupid. Because he only cares about hope and stuff. Easily one of the worst characters in the entire movie. And then we have the next gripe. How the hell can freaking Kylo Ren and Rey speak to each other? What the hell kind of stuff is this? Is this like Luke and Darth Vader never did this? But according to this movie, Rey and Kylo Ren, or Ben Solo, I'm just calling him Kylo Ren because that's what they gave him in the first film, so screw that. But basically, they somehow can talk to each other for some odd reason. They never explain this. They'll probably not explain this in episode IX because Rian Johnson does not know how to write a movie. Which they never explain this. And of course, Rey for some reason can beat Luke Skywalker with very little training. It's kind of like those scenes from Dragon Ball Z where a character gets like very little training and they can beat them. It kind of reminds me of that. It's just very stupid and very dumb. Like the whole goal, like Frieza trained for at least more than an hour. Rey trained for really a few hours and that's it. That's really all Rey did. And she's apparently as strong as someone as a Jedi, as Luke Skywalker, who beat Darth Vader. He didn't beat Emperor Palpatine because of the lightning, but he could probably beat him too. And you're telling me that she is stronger than freaking Luke Skywalker, but Luke Skywalker can beat Kylo Ren in lightsaber duels, but Rey, she can beat Luke Skywalker totally. Even though actually Kylo Ren also lost away as well in the last film. But it's just kind of just stupid. And Kylo Ren basically just had this robotic voice. He kind of sounds like he doesn't even sound like a human. He has this really annoying voice. I forgot to go over this in the Force Awakens, but he has this really annoying robotic voice that just gets annoying after a while. And it just gets so annoying after a while that this film just pisses everybody off. And then we have freaking Holdo, quite easily one of the worst Star Wars characters as well. And this film would have been much better without her, and they could have just not killed Akbar and everybody else. It would have been much better if they did not introduce this a-hole into this film, because really nobody likes her besides feminists, which is not the target demographic for this freaking movie. I just kind of find it funny that the Star Wars fans are actually that Star Wars creators are actually defending this character. This awful character that really nobody likes besides the Star Wars creators. Because they don't know what they're doing, and Rian Johnson as well. Because they have no idea what the fuck they're doing with this freaking franchise. Because, literally, this is what Star Wars has returned to. It's basically, feminist propaganda. That's all this film is. That's the reason why it's about that's the reason why, next point. Feminism. This film is really about feminism. Rose Tico saving Finn, go saving a guy. Doesn't matter about race, gender, it's a go saving a guy. Holdo not telling anybody the plans and being seen as a hero even though she's not. Because he refuses to tell anyone the plans. And wearing her Superman powers. Yeah, her Superman powers that she somehow has. And then we have, freaking Rey, Mary Sue. We already explained why she's a freaking Mary Sue in the Force Awakens, which is 8 times better than this film because at least it has a story that can actually follow. The Last Jedi doesn't really have that much of a story. It's just kind of just a. But then we have the war, and then we have the boring running away scene that takes up half the film. They're literally running away from the First Order until they run out of fuel, and for some reasons they run out of fuel and stuff, and they have to basically now all escape because Holdo is a big jerk, and they could have told anyone else become Vice Admiral, but they freaking told Holdo. Holdo's the Vice Admiral now because reasons. This film never likes to explain anything. Like, they never like to explain, like, why Luke Skywalker wanted to die. The freaking connection Kylo Ren and Rey have. They can't explain that because the Star Wars creators are too much of wussies to explain any of this. Because they can't explain a single thing about this film. This is why J.J. Abrams is coming back, because the episode episode 9 will probably be way better than The Last Jedi, because they're not being made by Rian Johnson. I bet Rian Johnson's trilogy be completely horsed as well, and probably be full of this garbage plot and this really bad characters that nobody cares about. I kind of feel the future. Star Wars is a dead brand. That's accepted already. It's a dead series. Solo only proved that it's a dead series after Solo losing money instead of gaining money in the box office. I wonder why. Because nobody likes the last film, so no one wants to see this one. Solo is blamed for many reasons. There's no such thing as a Star Wars critique, because Marvel can release like 3 movies a year and still make a lot of money. There's no such thing as Star Wars critique. It's just because this film exists. This is basically Attack of the Clones, but even worse. Because at least Attack of the Clones, you had likable characters from the previous films like Obi-Wan and Yoda. This, you have no likable characters. None of the characters are at least likable in the sense. Besides the characters that are background characters. And that's the biggest problem of this movie. All the characters are unlikable besides Chewbacca, the Porgs, and BB-8. And R2-D2, and C-3PO. Which all have been in the previous films in the beginning. So, The Last Jedi, I'll give a 2.9 out of 10, because there are good parts of the movie, but the negatives very, very, very much outweigh the positives.